Okay, so while heat waves have been sweeping across southern Europe and most part of southern Sweden, we up here in Skellefteå, it's quite different the case has been. I mean, at this time of the year in June, temperatures has been hovering around between 19 to like 21 degrees. Well, this is my 2019 Audi A5 and it has been my daily driver for more than the past 6 months now. And as a rule of thumb, I usually do make it as a point of duty to go on a road trip at least once or twice in a year, particularly in summer times in Sweden. And so the opportunity has presented itself for me to take a beautiful road trip to an event which is going to be occurring in the southern part of Sweden, in a city in Ängelholm, Sweden, which is called Båstad. And the event is the Aurora 2026, and I'm very, very much excited for that event. So get subscribed as I'm going to be uploading videos on the Aurora 2026 on this channel. There are going to be a lot of exciting cars and you're not going to be disappointed. Now, how long is this journey going to take me? I'm glad you asked, because from my estimation, what it shows here, driving from Skellefteå to Båstad in southern part of Sweden is going to take me a whopping 1,300 kilometers. This 1,300 kilometers of road trip is going to present me a beautiful opportunity to bond not just with my 2019 Audi A5, but also with, the different landscapes of Sweden, from the northern part to the southern part of Sweden. If that sounds interesting, let's get started. Okay, we are out on the road on this 1,300 kilometers long haul road trip. Like I mentioned, I do like to take at least one road trip in a year, and that gives me some form of intrinsic meaning. And I do find, taking road trips quite therapeutic, to say the least. This Audi A5 is the technology package, so it comes with adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist and also traffic jam assist. And those features are really very important to me when I'm, choosing a car that's going to be my daily driver. And also my Audi A5 comes with Audi's digital gauge cluster, which they did really well. I have the map just right below my eye line, which is really, really good. So road trips do provide me with some metrics which I use to compare between electric vehicles and internal combustion engine vehicles, to see how far electric vehicles have come, and the areas where internal combustion vehicles still, have more advantage over electric vehicles. Of course, electric vehicles have come really far. I reviewed the new BMW iX3 and also the new Mercedes CLA. Those cars are rated at 800 kilometers by the manufacturer. And in real world driving, 600 kilometers, you're bound to get 600 kilometers at least in summer conditions like this. But for my Audi A5, this car is equipped with Volkswagen's, famous EA888 2-liter turbocharged engine. It's a quite economical engine. It provides me with a good amount of power, I must say. We're at full tank right now, and it gives me an estimated range of 940 kilometers. 940 kilometers. And also the car is set up to drive in its most efficient setting. Both the engine and the gearbox are on efficiency mode, just to see also how efficient this car is, and also to see the average consumption over this 1,300 kilometers of road tripping. So when you look at the map of Sweden, you can see that Sweden is a narrow country, and this journey is almost going to be like a cross-country journey, actually, from Skellefteå to Båstad. Skellefteå is not the most northern part of Sweden, but it's quite north as you may have it, and Båstad is quite south. And so it's almost going to be like I am doing a cross-country road trip. And in general, Sweden is a very, very beautiful country in summer times. So that being said, this is a road trip I've looked forward to. Going to the Aurora for the first time is also something I've looked forward to. And this should be the second iteration or maybe third iteration of the Aurora. So let's keep on driving.
Okay, quick update, y'all. After plentiful hours and plentiful kilometers of driving, I just wanted to update you guys on the journey so far. And now check this out. After driving approximately 874 kilometers, so we have driven 874 kilometers on a single tank. 874 kilometers is a really solid figure on this Audi A5, and we averaged a consumption of 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. So we still have about 463 kilometers. Yes, 463 kilometers. Now it's time to actually refuel the gas for the Audi A5.
Okay, back on the road for the last lap of this road trip. I've taken a breather, taken some refreshment, and I'm very much high energy for completing the remaining 422 kilometers of this road trip. A couple of things I'm going to point out, which I would say encapsulates, everything about this road trip, or all my thoughts about this road trip. And of course, driving all the way from the northern part of Sweden, and now we are on the way to the southern part of Sweden, you get to see the distinction between the north and the south, where you have a lot of highlands and lowlands in comparison to the southern parts, where you have a lot more flat, plain, scenic landscapes. Driving 874 kilometers with an average consumption of 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers is very solid on this Audi A5. I would say it's a very, very efficient car to be able to deliver me almost 900 kilometers of driving range. Of course, the car estimated 940 kilometers at the beginning of this road trip, but of course that's because the car calculates, the range based on the previous, driving behavior. And I'm very, very frugal with the accelerator pedal when I drive, except on special days or on some days where I just want to drive like a hooligan. Then my consumption figures go up, and then I spend more money for gas. Now, for the refinement, the interior refinement of this car in terms of road noise isolation, I would give this car an average score. It's not the most refined, or it's not the most insulated interior, and that's just because of a couple of things. This car is driving on a much wider tires. It's on 19-inch 255s, both front and rear. So it's a quite beefy tire. So that contributes to the road noise that this car gives you. That's some of my gripes. For this car to be this efficient, or for this car to provide me with this amount of range, it has the auto start stop feature like every modern car does, but it also has something called intelligent coast. Now, some people like auto start stop, some people don't. It depends on the conditions, but I do really appreciate auto start stop in internal combustion vehicles. Now, for the intelligent coasting for this car, when it's switched on, it uses map data, and when the car notices that the road is decreasing in gradient or is going on a slope, the engine would shut itself off and coast. And at a particular time, it switches itself back on. It can also decouple the transmission. For example, when it's on gear, you can see that it's on gear 7.
and the digit just disappears. So, which kind of means that the car decouples the gear. It's also quite brilliant, to be honest. So, I don't know about some people's opinion, but tell me about what you think about, auto start stop functions in cars. Do you really use them? For me, I think it's a feature I would like to have. Sometimes it can be annoying, especially on day-to-day stop and go driving. But in this iteration where the intelligent coast works with the auto start stop function, I think is a good feature to have, because it just saves energy and saves on petrol when the car just notices that there's a gradient and the engine shuts off. Which brings me to another big highlight for me, especially while driving through Stockholm, because at this time of the day is very congested. The adaptive cruise control of this car comes with something Audi calls traffic jam assist. So while in traffic jam, for as long as the traffic jam continued while I was driving through Stockholm, when that traffic jam assist is on, the car literally steers by itself and it just follows the car in front of you at a steady, slow, controlled pace. I really, really appreciated that. It just takes away from the stress. I mean, after driving for a couple of hours and then you encounter a traffic or a lot of traffic, with that feature on, the car literally will do the driving for you. All you just have to do is monitor it, of course. And for me, the potency and efficacy of, lane keep assist systems in vehicles, it's its ability to recognize the lanes properly. And in this Audi, it does that really well. It recognizes the lanes and it keeps the car really centered. The only thing, like I said, is just when the system goes off and then you're on your own. You can drive straight into a wall or something. And it's not capacitive touch, so you have to put some resistance on the steering wheel to kind of notify the car that you're paying attention to the driving. Newer systems are much more better, that the steering is capacitive touch and it has some infrared cameras that monitor your eyes to make sure you're paying attention to the road. But overall, I'm really enjoying the road trip. But yes, the journey is still on for me. And the next time I'll be seeing you will be at the end. Okay, so after 1,257 kilometers and a couple of dead bugs, RIP to the bugs, we've come to the end of this road trip with a caveat. Well, Båstad is still like 47 kilometers away, about 37 minutes of drive. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to Båstad today, and that's because my Audi broke. Nah, I'm just kidding you. The Audi didn't break. It actually performed exceptionally well. All right, so I chose to hang out at Hampstead today because this city brings back a lot of memories. This is the city where I got my master's in mechanical engineering when I first got to Sweden in some years back. So key takeaway from this road trip, this is a solid range vehicle. This is a solid range internal combustion gasoline powered or fuel powered vehicle. A diesel engine would give you more range, but this EA888 engine in front here is very, very potent, refined, smooth, and provides good amount of power for me in this vehicle. And also, this also makes me cognizant of how far electric cars or electric vehicles have come. I earlier mentioned the Mercedes CLA and the BMW iX3, where internal combustion engine vehicles still trumps electric cars. Mostly, I would say, is in the charging and the time it takes you to fuel up an internal combustion engine, the time it takes you to charge. And for road trip purposes, electric vehicles that can give you 600 kilometers of range in ideal weather conditions
are actually good. It just gives a clue to how much or how far electric vehicles have come. In terms of charging, BYD are developing very, very fast charging technology, which they call something charge. I don't know, but it can apparently charge your car in 5 minutes. But yeah, I have really enjoyed this road trip and my energy is fast spent. Now I'm going to summon up some last energy in my normal style. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Emmanuel and this is Dope Car Tech. And well, please just subscribe, okay? Please just subscribe. It's been a long, long day. And if you've made it to the end of this video, I actually appreciate it, honestly. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.